Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. I remember a very funny meme that I once shared and it absolutely went gangbusters, and you may know it. It's awesome. It's a picture of a skeleton sitting on a park bench and it's got the caption, "Waiting for a narcissist to apologize." And it's hilarious. It's so true, because if you're wanting a genuine apology, remorse and atonement for the horrible things that narcissists do, which is the obscene, conscienceless behavior and the pathological lies and the deception that they're famous for, you're going to be waiting an eternity, because there is zero closure to be had directly from the narcissist. And don't be fooled if eventually you do get an apology, because when you reconnect with the narcissist after that apology, you'll discover that not only was the misdeed never truly recognized and significant to them at all, but also the same behavior is just going to continue, because you were simply being told what you wanted to hear for the narcissist's agenda. If we've got past believing, hoping, or wishing for the narcissist to be genuinely accountable, which is a huge relief when we do, I still strongly advise against getting trapped into wanting justice to be served, which is the stuff like having the narcissist being held accountable by family and friends or the law, or for the karma to strike him or her down with the rightful payback of what they did to you. That just unfortunately doesn't happen. And even though this is a step up from clinging to the narcissist and doing the lecturing and prescribing and trying to force them to get it, however, it still means that your life's on hold. It means that you're stuck in the illusion of conditional living, which is this: the quality and capacity to generate and create my life is reliant on conditions outside of me, which is in direct contrary to quantum law, so within, so without, which is this personal truth for all of us. I have the power to unfold my life from inside of me, regardless of what other people are or aren't doing. If we do stay stuck in trying to get the narcissist to validate our experience by apologizing and atoning, then, as understandable as this is, what we are really saying is, my life experience is now in your hands. I can't go on healthily until you repair what you've done. Now, please don't mistake me. In an ideal world, yes, people should do this. They should understand how they've hurt people, have a conscience, and do whatever they can to repair that hurt. However, do we live in a world where this was a part of our childhood curriculum, where humans taught the fundamentals of emotional intelligence in the important foundational years where most of all human programming took place, and how to honour our inner beings and then the inner beings of others healthily from a very young age? No, because maths, spelling, grades and sport were deemed more important than that. And we live in a world where acquisitions and superficiality are focused on and revered, not the way we treat ourselves and others. And if we want to jump up and down and get all righteous about the way people should be awake and treat others, we're doing that on the wrong planet. Truly. That's our powerless victimisation talking, and nobody stuck in that model is happy, because they're continually disappointed by people's unconscious behaviour and lack of accountability. And I know this for a fact because I used to be one of those people. Narcissists are unconscious. It's all about their hurt and what they are or aren't getting, no one else's. They hold everybody else responsible for needing to grant them what they want to try to feel okay, whilst they operate with their thoughtless, conscienceless behaviour towards others. The narcissist doesn't take responsibility for their own hurt, let alone the hurt they inflict on you. How can they when they refuse to recognise and heal their own? Of course, when somebody violates us, it can hurt. It especially hurts when we're holding another person responsible for our own levels of self-love, approval, security, and survival. It can feel intensely personal because this surfaces our deepest wounds, fears, and insecurities, such as you didn't love me, you lied to me, you cheated on me, you deceived me, you treated me cruelly, or whatever it is that hurts us so much. When, in our lack of self-partnering and not being these commodities to ourselves, these terrible feelings equate to, this means I must be unlovable and can't have what is real and true or live a kind and decent life. When we've assigned somebody else as the keeper and the provider of our identity and they're not supplying the goods, of course we feel traumatized and out of control. We feel like we need to make them change, step up and stop doing what hurts and also take away our hurt. This all equates to disastrously handing our power away. What you want to feel whole is never going to come from a false source who doesn't even have the capacity to be real or whole within him or herself. And your suffering can't stop if this is where you're at, because it means that you've not yet stepped into your true power, which is being an unlimited being able to harness and create with the entire unlimited potential of your life experience. And can you understand what these powerless and dependent feelings are really about? They're about feeling like a child on the inside, trying to get a person, a metaphoric parent, to grant us what we need to be whole. And as children, it was so true that if we didn't have somebody loving us safely, kindly, and honestly, we couldn't feel lovable, kindly treated, and safe. And we were mega dependent because we didn't have the resources yet to be and co-generate these things ourselves. However, as an adult, we can consciously choose to do the inner work, the programming inside our own inner identity. We can realize that once the trauma is inside our own inner being, that only we can choose to be responsible for healing it, and that nobody else can do this for us. People can help show us how to do this, but ultimately this was always about establishing a healthy, whole, loving relationship between us and ourselves as a template for every relationship we then accept and create going forward. And it's this inner work that is exactly what myself and others achieve through Quantum Freedom Healing, which is in the NARP program. And I promise you personally, if I hadn't, I would be that skeleton waiting on the park bench for the narcissist to make amends. There is no way I could have gone on and had the life I do. When we commit to the inner work, we shift into the understanding that 100% we accept that with this person, we can't have a safe, kind, and honest relationship. It's just not possible because the sanctity of ourselves and our emotions and identity aren't respected and honoured. Yet we can become these things to ourselves and then co-generate them with healthy others and life opportunities. As kids, we couldn't leave the parent who was not conscious enough to help our inner identities grow up healthily. But as adults, we can leave the metaphoric parent damaging us this time. Make no mistake, the hallmarks of narcissistic abuse are unacceptable. Things like pathological lying, conscienceless behaviour, and the inability to recognise your feelings and needs and apologise for bad behaviour or make amends. These are all intensely damaging behaviours to be around that destroy the sanctity, the trust and respect of relationships, as well as your relationship with yourself. When we do the inner work on our young childhood wounds, those unhealed parts that don't feel whole, safe and loved, grow up. And we no longer take other people's unconscious behavior personally. Instead, we recognize they don't have the capacity to be healthy, and we're relieved to have got the lesson and the healing from them. Now we are deeply invested in our own growth and development, expanding into life in glorious ways, able to generate with who and what is healthy and leave alone who and what isn't. And it's such a relief to no longer be putting our pearls in front of swines to be smashed. And to stop being dependent on unhealthy others, trying to force them to take away our pain and grant us our wholeness because we already have it. We are fully emancipated when we stop trying to change broken, unconscious people into whole people so that we can finally feel loved and safe. We already are our own life raft. We're no longer clinging onto them to try to stop drowning. The intense wake-up call of narcissistic abuse drives us to do that inner work because it's too painful not to do it. And then we've stepped into personal truth and our healthy alignment, where we can bless and let go of abusive people. We can keep releasing and healing our wounds and becoming more and more of a match for the people and situations who do represent our true selves. The truest closure we can ever have with a narcissist is this: I don't need any closure from you at all anymore, because I'm now lovingly self-partnered and my true source generating my own life. And that's what I want for all of us. And I can help you anchor into this power and truth, just as myself and so many others have achieved in this Thriver community. And you can get started on that today by signing up to my free 16-day Deep Inner Healing course, which includes a healing workshop with the super tool Quantum Freedom Healing, a set of comprehensive ebooks, and so much more. So to access these, just click the link at the top right of this video. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you like and subscribe so you get notified as soon as each new one is released. So until next time, keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving, because there's nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.